Before the video starts, I just want to say shout out to Eureka Ergonomic for sending me out a chair and a CPU cart. Now, their chair is originally $600, but it's discounted right now at $300. And I'm literally using this chair over a $2,000 Herman Miller because it's that comfortable. The aesthetics is very gamer, but the thing that they do right is they think about how a gamer is going to sit for long hours, and it's so freaking comfortable. If you're looking to buy a new chair, guys, please go check them out. I tell you, I cannot vouch any harder because this is one of the most comfortable chairs I've ever used. Almost a decade of playing. 8 years, 29 seasons, 69 operators, and lots of fun. But why do I still play this game after all this time? Well, Rainbow Six Siege is the most unique FPS that the world has ever seen. There are layers to this game. Imagine chess as an FPS. That's the best way I can explain this game. On paper, it's just another 5v5 shooter, and when I first started playing, there were only 26 operators. Even then, it was overwhelming to learn the game. But once you start to get time into the game, it unpacks the reality that Siege is much more than your run-of-the-mill FPS. It's challenging and addicting. What kept me coming back to the game was the endless sandbox experience. I can play the same map 5 times in a row, and would play differently each time. Take the map Coastline. It's been in the game since year 2, and it's such a simple map, but can be played 100 different ways on both sides. Now just imagine the other 24 map that the game has, mix that in with all the operators and different strats, and you have the endless fun experience. Each operator has a unique ability that has positives and negatives for bringing them, like Hibana. She's the most versatile hard breacher that Rainbow Six Siege has because of the number of hard walls that she can deal with, and she has all these cool counters with defensive operators. You don't have to use Hibana only for hard walls. You can use her for zombie barriers and anything that's on a soft destructible floor or wall, you can technically destroy. Comparing this to other operators like Thermite or Ace, which are also hard breachers, they have their own specific uses and purposes for every situation. For example, you would bring a Hibana if you want to get hatches or you just need lines of sight, but you would bring Thermite or Ace if you want bigger holes for breaches that you're going to enter. This is what makes Siege so great because you have so many different interactions with operators. I'm going to show you this diagram. It's a clear example of this. This was made in the 2nd year of the game, and it shows how complex the interactions are, even though there were only 28 operators at the time of this. Can you imagine the endless interactions we can now have if we had an updated diagram with 69 operators? Seriously, somebody should do that. Ubisoft also did a great job of adding personalities and lore to each character. Even though a lot of the community might not care about this side, or they just don't think it's relevant in any way, I still need to mention it for this aspect for this video. Every operator is based on real military groups from all around the world. For example, SAS is a British military group of operators molded into the game to look, feel, and be as real as SAS military personnel, equipped with real-life guns, gadgets, and most importantly, a real-life description of each character, which allows the consumer to relate to each operator. We have operators from all over the world, from every race, gender, age, group, etc. Mix that in with addictive gameplay and a satisfaction of a play working, and you have the recipe for a great game. Even the age of TikTok, where attention spans are at the lowest, Siege has been perfect for this since they're constantly changing things and how they interact with one another. To give you an idea of this, Blackbeard, when he was released, had a shield that a tank couldn't even break. Ubisoft saw this as a problem and changed how his shield worked. Now he's a spitting image of himself, but changes like this is what keeps the game fresh. Another look at this side of Siege would be the most recent change to grenades. For 8 years, you could cook grenades and use them to get easy kills from below. This became a problem from Ubisoft's perspective, since not only did the meta get dry, but the whole uniqueness of how everyone played was jeopardized. So Ubisoft went ahead and made changes that a lot of the community hated at first. They made it so you can no longer cook grenades. The gadget went from one of the most used gadgets that was only used for lethal play to now a balanced gadget that can kill, but most importantly is used for clearing gadgets and utility. With this little change in how a gadget works, it had a ripple effect on the entire game and how everyone played. Personally, I really enjoyed the aftermath of the grenade change because, once again, Siege has now changed with how operators are now picked and how people just attack in general and even defend. Because before, on defense, you would have to basically play in specific areas because you would probably get grenaded from below. Now you can feel a little bit more safe and secure. And as an attacker, you have more freedom to play the map and work it out differently. You're seeing different attacks and different structure. I love Rainbow Six Siege so much because you can always learn something new. It doesn't matter if you're brand new to the game or you're a year one veteran or even a pro player. You can constantly be learning something, whether it's a new operator usage, how to use their ability a little bit better, how to attack a map differently, how to defend it. Even site setups can change the course of your gameplay completely. A few months ago, there was a meme going around with one of the content creators in Siege. Basically, Macy J was reinforcing off some interesting spots, and he was saying that head holes in this specific area was bad. So on the flip side, what I decided to do is create something called a Macy J strat. And it's basically where you don't reinforce anything and you make head holes and lines of sight literally everywhere. And to my surprise, it worked. Because attackers are so used to attacking these weird default defender site setups that they were just pushing into our angles and they didn't know how to collapse onto us. It was a really fun way to play the game. And it was so unique and basically completely left field of what players think defenders are supposed to site set up like. What makes a Rainbow Six Siege the most unique FPS as well is you don't need to be the strongest mechanical player. You don't need to be an aimer. As long as you can use your brain, there's a space in Siege for you. That's the great thing that I love about Siege, is the smarts that's needed to play this game. You can come up with some really cool strategies or angles. It really doesn't matter. As long as you can use your brain to outthink the enemy, you can thrive very well in this game. And that's what drawn me to this game. Because growing up, I played a lot of Call of Duty, whether that was World at War, Modern Warfare 2, Black Ops 2, etc. And after some time, I felt some fatigue. Maybe because the FPS genre in general was just getting dry and repetitive, or maybe it was the fact that it was all lacking some type of brain power. A lot of these games, I would literally just turn off my brain unless I was playing like Search and Destroy. And that's why I love Siege so much, because it brought every aspect of every other FPS game and then added on to it and made it better. Now, just like any other game, Siege is not perfect. We've had a lot of different problems, whether that was operator balancing like Lion during his first release. There was a huge problem in pro play where they even had to quarantine the operator so nobody can play it until they reworked them. Or let's not talk about all the game breaking bugs from every single season, or the difference in vision when it comes to devs because they keep getting new developers. Let's not even talk about the plague problem with cheaters, because honestly you can say that about any FPS game, and I really don't want to make this a negative video in any light. It is just a reality of this game. With all these problems involved, I still love the core premise of the game. Siege is so unique and special, and I think that every single gamer should try it at least once or twice and really give it a chance, because in some way you will find a way to love this game, because the community has so many sub communities as well. If you're not big into tryharding and playing super, you know, crazy ranked, and you don't want to become like a competitive player and you're not really interested in that nature, that's fine. Maybe you can get into the GFX scene with all the creative artists, or maybe even cosplayers, or just the casuals that just play for fun but they try just a little bit. Or you can be a sweat. This community has everything for everybody. So no matter where you're coming from, even what part of the world, you can find somebody like-minded like you and find friends. And that's what makes Rainbow Six Siege so perfect. Even with all its flaws, all its problems, I still thoroughly believe that this is probably one of the best FPS games that we'll maybe even ever see, because they found a way to combine strategy and an FPS in such a unique way that there's a reason why it's been out for 8 years. And even if people say that the game is dead or it's been dying since year 2 or whatever, it doesn't really matter, because a lot of people nowadays don't have the attention span to learn a game or even continue playing a game even when there's issues. So whether you're a new player or you've never even touched this game before, I would highly suggest you going ahead and purchasing this game. There's a bunch of, sales going on. You can buy the game for $5 sometimes, and it's just worth it. It's even on Game Pass on Xbox. So if you have Game Pass, it's basically free. And don't get me wrong, there are cheaters on PC and there are people that use M&K on console. But if you can look past that and you can find a group of friends that you can just play with, it's probably one of the most rewarding games overall. And I think every single gamer should play it. And that's why I've been playing this FPS for the last 8 years, and why I'll probably continue playing it. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure that you guys like, sub, and comment, and thank you so much for watching the video.